Hey, Woodsuck here. Thanks for stopping by. Hope everyone's doing okay out there. I'm combining the nose and mouth into one video because I didn't think it was necessary to split it up into three parts. But I will have a third and final installment on this series. And it's going to be basically about the final detail work on the third video. But here we're going to mainly focus on the nose and the mouth. Real simple ways to put this features in. As you know, the nose is the biggest protrusion on the side of the face when you look at a profile. So you got to realize that you have to push the eyes in and the corners in a lot farther back just to bring that nose out. Especially with a piece of wood like this, it's like a cylindrical style piece of wood. So you're going to have to dig a little deeper for the bottom of the nose, which I'm trying to punch in right now with a right angle die grinder. Fitted out with a 40 carbide tip, a 1/4 inch. Kind of an old oval shaped style burr, and it's good for roughing out since it's a bigger burr. Plus it doesn't leave a harsh surface behind after you use it. It kind of smooths things out as you go along removing material. Even though I wrapped up the eyes in the previous video, there still needs to be work done on them. And I'll finish that up in the final detail video with after this video. So stay tuned if you're interested in making corrections. For instance, if you find that you've removed too much material, it's harder to replace that. Since this is a reduction process, you're reducing the material instead of adding on to it like a clay sculptor does. So you have to be pretty mindful when it comes to wood carving like this. Yeah, the nose is coming along pretty fine. It's more of a difficult one. I should have just stuck with a normal nose, but I figured, I'm just going to jump into some unusual kind of nose this time. I don't know why I did that, but you can use these techniques for other kinds of noses too. But it's always good to force yourself to try different things instead of trying to do the same old nose, which I've been doing, having a habit of not exploring more. I'm trying to go for like a wizard looking nose, or more like a gargoyle exaggerated nose. More like a caricature style, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I'm constantly switching sides of the face to keep it even, back and forth process. Sometimes I find myself going back to fussing over little details like along the eyes there. You get kind of distracted sometimes. Something just bothers you and you want to address it. But the main thing is to stay focused on the project at hand, which is the nose and the mouth. Yeah, I use these Riffler files from time to time. They're not coarse ones, they're kind of finished files. Even though we're not finished with the project, I'll still throw them out there and give them a go on the face. Yeah, the mouth is really not that difficult if you really think about it, because you've already removed material from above on the nose area. So basically you're just making it in the shape of the mouth. And a tip on the mouth is never make a straight line across. It's really kind of boring. You want to make some curves at the corner of the mouth. It gives it some dynamic. I tend to find myself more interested in faces that are not perfect. Sometimes there's some quirkiness going on. So when you have a curved mouth, it's either smiling or it's frowning. So there's a lot of motion you could put into the mouth. I tend to do the happy face mostly. But sometimes there's some serious faces that you want to work on where they're kind of looking like they're not happy. Maybe they're in deep thought. Yeah, I'm doing some prep work above the forehead there, trying to throw some brow lines in. Kind of getting anxious to work on other parts of the face at the same time. Maybe I got some OCD, I don't know, when it comes to carving. But it's always good to be obsessive when you're a wood carver, I think, because you're detail orientated, and then also it just makes a better piece. But there's a point where it gets a little bit too out of control where you gotta like say, hey, enough is enough. I just jumped in here with a diamond burr on my right angle die grinder. It's a 1/4 inch Warrior diamond burr set. They're available at Harbor Freight if anyone's interested. Less than $10 for like a 6 or 8 pack. I think it's an 8 pack actually. But they got different shapes for different needs. But keep in mind it's only 1/4 inch. It's for the bigger power tools, not the Dremel style. But yeah, this guy's looking pretty good. We'll probably put some kind of little beard on him in the final video. We'll get to that here shortly. Main thing is to wrap up this nose and mouth, and you can see it's really not that difficult. Just don't think too hard about it, just let it go. It's easier said than done, but a very important thing to do is have a collection of photographs from multiple angles, and that really helps out. I like to study faces quite often, and it's like hardwired into my brain mostly. I don't have to look at too many pictures. Except for detail-specific portions of the face. I'll have to revert to some imagery like that for specific looks that I want to achieve. Looks like we reached the end here, so thanks for sticking it out, and we'll see you guys on the final and last video of this series.